So I'm Daniel. I've sailed with a lot of you guys. Some of you I haven't yet. I grew up sailing at the club and at Cal Adventures and raced in college and have been coaching more or less for about 10 years now, mostly racing and youth racing and a little bit of the racing at CSC. So I kind of come at everything from a racing standpoint, but the same things that you look at to improve as a racer are the way that you improve as a sailor or even a windsurfer or a kayaker. It's all kind of the same process. And the self-coaching process is really useful because, you know, at CSC, you don't have a coach and don't really have the resources to go out and get coaching. So being able to be your own coach is kind of the only way to be able to progress. What I'm going to be talking about today is everything from a racing standpoint. So we're going to be looking at self-coaching with a racing focus. And for those of you that aren't racing people, I will try to make it a little more general. But, you know, sailing a boat is sailing a boat, and your specific focus might be different, but good sailing is always the same. So if you're looking at what makes you successful on a race course, you can break things down into strategy, tactics, and handling. So let me just jump ahead, or I'll go back to here. So strategy is anything that is what you would do in the absence of all other boats. So that's saying you're the only person starting on a race course. It's a time trial. What's the fastest way to get around this race course? Tactics is things that you're doing specifically because there's other boats. That's ducking, crossing, covering, messing around with people on the start line, maybe choosing ones at the start line, even if it's not as far upwind, but because it has less boats on it. Any sort of rules decisions, so those are all tactics. And handling is things that apply outside of racing that just have to do with getting through maneuvers quickly, maintaining optimum boat speed, and anything to do with how you and the boat move together. So if we break things out in racing into these three categories, then you can more easily look at what's going on in your racing and not be getting as confused. Now, in reality, these things all work together. If you have good handling, that helps your tactics. It's easier to get out of tactical situations. If you have good handling, it's easier to have better strategy. And if you choose better strategy, you'll get to places where it's easier to handle your boat, say away from big chop or weird wind holes. So in reality, a race is lost through a combination of all of these factors. And it can be really difficult to figure out how or why you lost. So let's say you had a race at CSC on a Sunday morning race and you finished 50 seconds behind boat one in a 10-minute race. So just knowing that doesn't really tell you much about why you lost. And chances are, and I see it all the time from talking to people after racing, you're probably going to blame it on something that isn't actually what's going wrong. And that thing's probably tactics. You'll probably go and remember that one moment where somebody, you know, squeezed you out at the start line, and that's why you lost the race. But if you go and you break down that time into all of the time savings and added time, you'll see that that isn't really what happened. So let's say in this 50-second race, in reality, your tacks were 10 seconds faster, your drives were 5 seconds slower, your roundings are 20 seconds slower, your start was 15 seconds slower, your boat speed was 30 seconds slower, your strategy was 20 seconds slower, and your tactics were 10 seconds faster. So with that result, you can a lot more easily go out and figure out, this is what I need to practice in the next week or 2 weeks to come back and have more success in the next race. And obviously the tendency is to just be frustrated by your result or remember that one big event that caused you to, you know, fall behind, you think, and just focus on that. But really, chances are most of the time it's boat speed, which is unfortunate because boat speed is one of the things that takes the longest to improve at. But for most people that are elite level sailors, and by elite I mean like World Cup and up, the boat speed difference is probably what's losing you the race.